So welcome to Past, Present, Future, the Full Circle podcast. On this podcast, we will be speaking to artists, managers, label owners, stylists, really anyone involved within the UK music and rap industry. The aim is to give you a full circle overview on their life, their past, their present, and obviously their future. But yeah, no, let's get into it. So, Past, Present, Future, episode 19.
Yeah.
Humbled. We've got Tricky in the building, so just wanted to obviously extend my thanks to you for coming down. And as always, I'd like to give the guests an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then I can obviously kind of guide it through the structure of the past, present, future journey.
All right. Tricky. What would I say? What would I say I am? I was going to change my bio the other day, but I thought, what do I change it to? Podcaster, interviewer. I wouldn't want to say I'm one of those activists. It's a bit of a strong word, but I don't know. Community leader, I would say. Yeah, I do a lot. I do a bit of that work in that department. So yeah, it's as simple as that. To be really honest, regular guy, mate.
That's it. And I want to go into the community leader shortly, actually, because there was something which kind of piqued my interest. But before I do, obviously we're going to go past first. What's your immediate reaction when I say the word past?
I don't know, where I was born, where I grew up, my gang life and whatever. That's my immediate reaction when people say that to me. Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to go into that, and you mentioned community leader. So I was obviously doing my research, and I came across a news article which was about you visiting schools and talking about, I think, the consequences of bad decisions.
Yeah.
So before we go into the consequences, I wanted to understand, what were the bad decisions?
What were the bad decisions that I made? Or the ones that I'm helping people with?
Let's go for ones you made.
The ones I made, the bad decisions were wanting everything too fast. Which I think everyone's got that disease. I think we've got that disease now. It's back around like a million. But I just learned to handle it a bit better. But yeah, wanting everything too fast and following people, not listening. The normal, like, I think that everyone's got that, makes their mistakes, but in different ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was me.
And what did that want or drive to get everything fast? Like you say, what did that push you towards doing?
It just pushed me to doing robbing banks at one stage. We was robbing banks at like 15, 16. Travel agents, post office, anything you can name, because remember, we're coming from an era where there was no screens. It was just like this. Like, I'm going to the bank teller's there and the drawer's right there and I could just jump over. So that's what it made us do. And the moment you make £100 and you start to think, I can make 250 here. You make 250 and you start to think, I can make 500 here. You make 500 and you think, I can make $5,000. So it just gets
accumulate.
Yeah, and your desire, it's like a drug, innit? It's like a drug, man, until you start to really understand the consequences of it. But before that, it was just, my drive was to just make money. And we'll make money. Like, I used to make £1,000 and spend 700 on a coat, a Stone Island coat. Who does that? You got £300 left. You could barely buy a pair of trainers to go with this coat. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like not knowing how to deal with the money and wanting more and thinking I need to go and do things every single week to try and get money. But yeah, that was it, man.
That want, like, where do you think that came from? Because I guess it wasn't you just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to go. Where did it come from?
My area, I think growing up in Hackney, I wasn't the first and I won't be the last. There was a whole load of people that I'm around, the older generation that I'm seeing with, whether it's cars, watches, women, like the lifestyle and everything. So that's where the want came from, and I thought, I want a piece of that. You know what I mean? Yeah, we all do, man. We all do.
And what were the consequences?
Well, I went to prison for robbery. Very, very, very long time ago. over 20 years ago. I went to prison for just two stupid other things, and that was driving. But I'm not a person that needs to. You don't need to hit me so many times for me to understand. So that was enough to say, you know what, I don't like this place. I don't ever want to come back here and this, that, and the other. But because I think that was the biggest that was one of the bigger consequences of being out there like that. Yeah, I think I'll just settle with prison.
How much of a lasting effect has that had on you?
It's a very good question, because I think we all like to say that we're healed and we're cool and we're this, that, but it's definitely had a lasting effect because a lot of my decisions and a lot of things I might do or I might not do. Like I always go back to there and think, could I even handle going there and this, that, and the other? The way I'm a bit more calm in my reaction, because I know one split second can change your whole life. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. Not every person in prison is a bad person. I know that sounds mad.
No, I agree.
But not everyone in prison is a bad person. I know some normal men that are in prison might be someone slapped his wife and he went crazy down at the pub and this, that, and the other. That doesn't make him a bad person. Do you know what I mean? He just made that split decision. So, yeah, for me.
So what you said there, I guess, in essence, is that it has had a lasting effect because decisions you make today are dictated by past experiences.
Yeah.
So to backtrack then in the same light, before you did the bank robbery, before you went to jail, so to talk about childhood, which is one of the things that you mentioned was an immediate reaction to past. How was your childhood? And I guess that is then your past decisions before the bank robbery. How did those experiences affect that decision?
I wouldn't say I had a bad childhood, I know it's very weird. I feel weird even saying that sometimes because everyone's got that deep childhood story, innit? Like, I think I had my mum got with my stepdad when I was about 3, 4. So my brothers that came with my stepdad, my stepbrothers, but my brothers who came with my stepdad, they lived with us. So I lived in a household with 4 or 5 other siblings. We always had something to do. I was in the middle, so I had older brothers, and I had older brothers to look to be there for me. So I wasn't really bullied in school or any of those things.
How old were you when your stepdad came into your life?
Probably about 4 or 5, I think, if I can remember. 4, 5, 6, something like that. Yeah.
And what was your reaction to another man coming into your life?
Oh, I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice, because I never, and my actual dad, I've never lived with my biological father, so I didn't even notice. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't. When people go back and they're like, "Oh gosh, I hated it," and what, at 6 years old, you had time to worry about what man's in your house. I didn't give a damn, man. But it was only certain times you start to think, I want my mum to myself. Just certain times as I got older, about 8, 9 or something like that. But other than that, I didn't really notice, man. It's adults, and in our world, it was children were seen and not heard. Do you get what I'm saying? So in the respect of that, I didn't even have the brain power to think, do I want this person here? It was rude to even think that.
Yeah.
So no, my stepdad was very strict, but he was a cool guy, so. Yeah, it wasn't a problem to me, man. Not at all.
The reason I ask is because, again, just kind of going back to my research, and obviously you had the incredible interview with your biological father come out not too long ago.
Yeah.
Which I want to go into that a little bit and just kind of understand. So what was the relationship like with your real dad? Because you mentioned you never lived with him.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. I even said on the interview with my dad used to, remember, dads are scammers, because mum looks after you all the time, and then your dad turns up on Saturday with £20 and you think, he's the greatest. You're like, what is she? And I was saying this to my pal, before, I was like, no, you start to look at your mum like, what is she doing, really? She's not even doing nothing, cooking a few meals. She's not bringing 20 quids in the gaff. Do you know what I mean? So you start to... Yeah, my relationship, as I said, dad's a scammer, so as long as he came round, he could miss 4 weeks and come round and give me £60 on the 5th week. Dad, love you, man. Love him, he's the best. And then he goes, because as a child, every time this man comes around, he brings money. So what is the problem as a child, innit? Mum's got a problem because she wants more help or this, that and the other. But as a child, he's the greatest guy in the world, and my dad's always been there. I haven't lived with him, but he's always been there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's always lives close by or been in the area, or I've seen him driving past in the area or stopped by my mum. So we've had a good relationship all our life, man.
To flip the script then, I'll be interested about this. So you said your relationship was brilliant with your dad. He would maybe go missing for 4 weeks, come back with £60 and you would love him. And I'm guessing those feelings of love would then actually go into your household with your mum and your stepdad. You know, my dad's the best, this, that and the other. How did your mum react to that, knowing that she's put in graft every single day?
I think she used to be a bit peed off.
Yeah.
I think she used to be a bit peed off with it, but there was one thing about my mum I would say, because it's a lesson to a lot of women, like that just slag off the dad and this, that and the other. It doesn't help. And my mum never done that. Now I'm older, I'll notice that she'll always give that little look. Or if she sees me waiting by the window, waiting for him, she'll be like, you know he's not going to come. You know he's not coming, move from the window. She'll do little things like that, but she was never... Once or twice, I can remember her actually... I wouldn't say getting jealous, but thinking, blooming George, he's getting away with murder, innit? Like that dad of yours, like, do you know what I mean? I'm grafting, I'm doing this, I'm working. My mum was working 2 jobs. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think because she was happy at the time, she didn't have time to really take it in. Do you know what I mean? And get on the jealous side and think, you know what? How's your dad getting all this love and he doesn't do nothing? And putting him down to me. No, she didn't. And I think that helped my relationship with my dad. Because if my mum was to put him down, it would only drill it in my head and make me think, you know what? He's not a nice guy. Keep your money, man. Do you know what I mean? She let him go on with the scam, like, so can't complain now, can I? Like,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, and thank you for being so open, because yeah, I think it's a tough one, isn't it? And like sitting here now and thinking about it and analysing it, it's clear. But as a child, you just see the money and you just see, yeah, all good.
Yeah.
And you kind of ignore it.
You get some crazy people that'll be like, when I was 6, I wanted to take my mum to court. It's like, blooming Jules, weren't you just playing with Lego? Like, where did you get all this energy from? Like, yeah, 'cause that's how I was, man. I was just in my own world, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? So I didn't even have time to really think of those things. And as I said, man, parents helped towards that.
Yeah.
So when my mum didn't go too hard on him, I couldn't go too hard on him. And we're from an era where if I dare disrespect my mother or my father without them even being together, probably won't be here today. Do you know what I mean? Even as bad as my dad was, I could never say F my dad in front of my mum. She'd do a nut. Do you know what I mean? She'd probably think that's for me to say, not you. Like, so it's respect levels, innit? So, yeah.
You did say as though your relationship with your dad was brilliant. It was amazing. How much harder did that make it, hearing from him in this recent interview? He didn't feel like he could express stuff to you. He didn't feel like he knew half of you. He didn't feel like all these things. How much harder was that situation when you in the back of your mind have got, I've had this amazing relationship with my dad, and then he says that?
Yeah, well, as you can see, it touched me a little just now, you even saying it. Like, I'm open and honest, people can see it. Like, I shed a tear in that interview, like, for my dad, like, do you know what I mean? Because I knew there was something that, but he held it in so well and went on like it was nothing, that when he said it, it just all hit me, and I thought, damn, like, you've always been like, because as I've just said to you, I thought we was always cool, my guy. So when he says, no, I wasn't cool, you was, basically, innit? Like, I was distraughted. I was on my last legs. I couldn't sleep. I was doing this and doing that, and yeah, that hurt me, man. That hurt me a lot. Yeah, it did, hearing him say that. Like, I didn't, but it's only now it could hurt me, like, because I think about my parents a lot more. Do you know what I mean? My children, and it's not only my decision. Like, when I went to prison, it was off my own back. Do you get what I'm saying? I was young. didn't have no kids. So when I'm in there on a day-to-day basis in prison, I don't think I'm hurting anyone. Do you know what I mean? Apart from my mum, I just thought about my mum all the time. But with my dad, and I think it touches a bit more because as a man, innit, you think, damn, like, you're a tough man. Like, how could I have brought that hurt to you and made you hurt a little? Like, but yeah, I was happy you said it. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that episode was like my own therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? You're going to find this with podcasts anyway. They're going to get to be therapy sessions to where you're going to teach and you're going to learn at the same time. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was a big therapy session for me, man.
And how do you feel about it now?
Brilliant. Brilliant. I've got it there for life. Like, I got to work in schools and Prus and all these other places and give talks just off of the back of that interview. It was the best thing I've recorded in my life, to be honest. Yeah, if I'm totally honest, best thing I recorded in my life, man. So yeah, and it's there for life now, innit? Whatever happens. Like, my son was in the building. My son got to see it, so it's a three generational thing. Like, so yeah, it was good, man. It's brilliant.
No, 100%. I echo it as well in terms of everything that I've watched from you, all of your content. That's my favourite piece. Because it's so meaningful and so transparent and so honest and so raw at the same time. So yeah, I wanted to go into it. And again, like, thank you for being transparent and for being honest. The same series podcast, you have a conversation with K Coke, where I think he's actually leading the conversation at this point, but he says, my friends that have passed away exceed 2 hands, so 10 people. And you echo it and you say, yeah, same. You touched upon your gang life earlier. How would you describe that for someone that's unaware of that portion of your life?
Probably with one of the worst gangs in London. Yeah, it could be checked out. Everyone's and this ain't a claim to anything. So if anyone wants to jump in and say no, their gang was the worst, then have that. It doesn't. You know what I mean? I'm just going on the way things went, the murders that happened, the amount of courts I went in and out of, the amount of police officers I got to know in that time. Police officers can tell you that. But yeah, it was something that started and spiraled out of control. But when things spiral out of control in that world, in the underworld as they call it, when things spiral out of control, we're not talking about a quick spiral out of control. We're talking about 10, 15 years gone. Do you know what I mean? 15 people dead, like, different reasons and this, that and the other. And it was hectic, but there was times that there was a lot of time, because you don't stay somewhere for 15 plus years or something if it's not fun at times. So there was times when we're not even noticing it. Like, I was talking to my mate the other day, like, saying we was in a gang and murders were happening. We were going to funerals and the very next day going to country to sell drugs. Do you get what I'm saying? We haven't even dried the tears from our eyes yet, but we're just cracking on till someone else dies, and then we crack on, and it's just. But yeah, it was just like something that spiraled out of control. Our gang life. It was guns, drugs, everything you can mention. To be really honest, everything you can mention.
What you just spoke about there, which was like going to funerals, then going country, then coming back for another funeral. And like, to me, it's a form of escape. So some people say someone passes away, they'll go and they'll drink or they'll do drugs or whatever, and it's a form of escape. You take your head out of that situation. You almost kind of put it to the back of your mind. You try and forget about it. And in a way, I would say what you were doing was a form of escape. So put it to the back of your mind and not really internalise the pain and overcome it. So I wondered how much of like a long-standing effect all of that pain that you brushed aside and you pushed to the back of your mind has had on you. Still,
it's had an effect where it affects me. It affects me now, to be honest. So it's affected me for years. Like, I have to make. Sometimes I used to stay in my house for an hour just to think of the route that I'm gonna take to where I'm going. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is years and years and years and years. I could do it now, but it doesn't take me an hour no more. Do you know what I mean? But I still would have that thought of, what road you're gonna go down, and you're gonna see that, you might see that person and this, that person, and it just, yeah, it takes over your whole life. And some of us like to go on like, no, I'm cool, I'm but you're not if you have to think about things that the average person doesn't have to think about. Do you get what I'm saying? Because the average man who's working in the bank, he just comes out and goes to the, if something happens while he's on the bus or on the Uber, he's very shocked. Do you know what I mean? But with us, we
numb.
Yeah, you have to be numb to it, because as we was even talking about with the funerals and that, we try and heal in broken places. Does that make sense to you? So if I grew in Hackney and I was broken in Hackney, I'm trying to heal in Hackney, so it doesn't happen. So we're going to the funerals there. Your friends are there, so you're going to have a smoke and a drink, and then you're going, and then you're rolling around in the area, sometimes driving past like 5 times a day where your friend got murdered. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're not even knowing, and sometimes you might just be smiling, and as soon as you're going past that place, it all hits you. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, I find that a bit hard, to be honest.
How do you cope with it? I mean, I'm kind of, I guess, assuming here that you've maybe worked some sort of coping mechanism around that. How do you cope with it today? Because you mentioned even now it still affects you. How do you cope with it?
I think just I cope with it by being a better person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I cope with it by being a better person, being nicer to people, just because I think I wouldn't say is it I don't know is it a cry for help to the man upstairs and saying, you know what, hey, fair play here now. Do you know what I mean? Like, but me coping with it, how do I cope with it? I stay by myself a lot, and that is a good thing and a bad thing. Because when I'm looking up certain things to do with depression, as I done a few years back when I was going through something, I looked up a few things and I thought, oh gosh, how come I'm ticking all of these boxes, but I think I'm normal? So I think I'm saying by myself, I'm not going to go around these people, I'm not going to go around that people. I don't, just the average human, I'm not going around, and I'm doing a lot of things by myself. So I think that might be one of my coping mechanisms.
How effective do you think that is, though?
In how effective in what way?
So, I mean, say if someone were to come to you and say, I've been through similar things, how do you cope? So like I have, and you say, I'll stay on my own. Do you feel that's effective? Would you recommend that?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. And I would say having someone there that you can actually talk to and be open with, because there's not many people. Everyone likes to go on like they're open and they're open for that conversation, but not too many people are. Do you get what I'm saying? So find someone that you could find that one person that you can talk to. It just so happens that usually it's a woman. Do you know what I mean? That gives that shoulder, and women are more loving and like they got more time for it. Because I had like 100 friends, but there wasn't one that I felt that I could go to and say, damn, it's kind of affecting me a bit. Do you know what I mean? Because it would just be like, oh, get on your bike, bruv. Or have a drink, bro. Or smoke a spliff, bruv. And I think, no, we've done all them ones before, and it still doesn't help. Because we're still on the talk about coping mechanisms, innit? Yeah, I think, let me answer your question though. Do I think because that's a good question, you know, do I think I would give that advice to someone else? Because if I would give that advice to someone else, that makes it very powerful. But if you wouldn't, then you probably ask me, what are you doing then? Do you know what I mean? But I could say everyone's coping mechanisms are different. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I would say, I would, plain and simple, I wouldn't give that out as advice because it's hard to get out of, and it's not something that you could just switch on and switch off. So I have to be mentally prepared to deal with people. As I was saying to you, like when I come in here, I was dealing with the young people. Me dealing with young people and being in schools, they don't ask me about my life, they don't question me about my life, they don't ask me about my future, they don't ask me about anything that's even going on now. Do you know what I mean? You have to be in a certain mental space to kind of get back in here. So it's always like and it's not something that I could just switch on and switch off. So no, it's not something that I advise people to do. I think do it in moderation. Do it in moderation, and don't do it to hide. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I done it to hide. And when I say hide, I mean hide from the one person that you can't hide from, yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? I can't shut. I can go in the bathroom and this tosses there, so to speak, me myself. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, do it for the right reasons. Do it for the right reasons. I would say, like, I done it for the wrong reasons, and it's a learning process, isn't it? Of how to deal with these things. Yeah.
Thank you. Good answer.
Yeah,
Very good answer.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Sorry if I go off sometimes, but I just try and get. And don't you notice? I always look up there because I try and think before I speak a lot. Do you get what I'm saying? And I'm not a person that can hide when I'm thinking. So I always get in trouble.
No, it's powerful. So thank you. Quick one. We work with a lot of up-and-coming urban artists across the UK who are seeking press assistance, radio airtime, creative marketing solutions, and really all-round artist development within an industry that is constantly evolving. Which is why when we had the opportunity to partner with the 1994 Collective on this podcast, it made perfect sense. So to any aspiring artists that are seeking commercial success, please do get in contact with the 1994 Collective and let them know we sent you. There was one thing that you said in that explanation which sticks out to me. So you referenced the timescale of, I think, 3 years ago. You were reading up on depression. You were going through something. And then later in your answer, you said it's normally a woman who you can speak to. Are those two things related?
In what way?
Did a woman leave your life 3 years ago and force the depression?
No, she left after that, to be really honest. She left after that. But
it just kind of pricked my ears.
But it was crazy. It's crazy that you said that. It's crazy that you said that. But I think it was part of it. I think it was part of it, and I would give that advice. But my woman that I might talk to might be my sister. It might not have to be. It might not have to be a woman, but because with my ex, it wasn't really that sort of conversation that I could have with her. Do you get what I'm saying? You could meet that woman, just lift up your trousers and get out there and do it. And it's not that easy. Do you know what I mean? And some women, you could look like, oh, you're doing that again. Oh, you're upset again, and did it. So I would say pick your women right. But yeah, it was a bit after that, and no, I think that was my healing stage. You know, I think that was my healing stage because she left. Well, we split up a month before lockdown started. No, about a week before lockdown started. So I always tell people I couldn't even go on stalk her or... No, we wasn't allowed that. And I couldn't waste my 1 hour going all the way to fucking her gaff to bloody do all of that. But it was like... Yeah, that was my healing process because in lockdown, the one person everyone had to deal with was themselves. Because you're locked in a house, you can't go out, So the one person you have to deal with is yourself. And I found that where I just started to admit to myself certain things that I'd done wrong. Like I would never be somewhere and ever crucify my ex. Like she was a brilliant girl. Like she was dope. It was just me. And there was now I know there was certain things I needed to work on for myself. But while you're in a relationship, you're trying to work on things for the relationship. And that's not going to work because you got to be great, bro. Not you two's got to be great. You've got to be great. And she's got to be great on your own. Do you know what I mean? But you're never going to know that if someone's just there and, oh, babes, how do we make ourselves better? And she's probably thinking, I'm good. Like, you're not great. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's probably from all my other traumas that I brought to the table. So now I'm so refreshed. I know that the next relationship I go into, I won't be bringing my traumas to the table. And if I do, I'm gonna let my woman know what's going on because certain times my missus might say to me, "What's wrong?" And then I'm just having a moment about one of my friends that have passed away and this, that, and the other. But I'm pushing her away, saying, "Why are you always asking me what's wrong? What's your problem?" And all I needed to do was tell her some probably. Do you know what I mean? And just say, "This is it. What next? Like, this is it." but I'm pushing her away, just telling her certain things. But no, they wasn't connected. I think I was going through depression while I was in a relationship.
Why?
And that is the worst time, man. And I think that's why I said I had my healing when I was on my own.
Yeah.
Because going through it while you're in a relationship, you're trying to keep the straight face and trying to keep the relationship cool. I'm having a stressful day. She's coming back at 6:30. I'm like, hi, babes. You're right, yeah. And I'm totally not all right. Do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes you just want her to say, you know what, hey, put your shoulders down, bro. Like, let's not front here. I know you're not all right. But it was me lying so good. Do you get what I'm saying? And when you get to be to covering up and lying about things, you get to be you it's just like anything. You start doing podcasts for 6 months, you're gonna be dope. You lie for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, a year, you're gonna be dope at it. And you just learn to lie and cover up things. And remember, the one person you're lying to is yourself. I'm not lying to her, like, because she don't know no difference. So whatever I tell her, she's just going with. So you're lying to yourself, and I think that's where I found the major problem. I should have found the problem when I was lying to other people, but the major problem was when I started lying to myself. That's when we had a problem here. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I always say to everyone now, lie to anyone in the world,
But not yourself.
don't lie to yourself, because then you're going to have a problem. The most major problem. You can come in here and say, you know what, Tricky, I'm worth 6.2 million. And you could say to him, you're worth 6.2 million. We can run out and believe you. But when you leave here, are you going to have 6.2 million? No. So it's not going to make no difference to us if we don't want a car out of you or some money out of you. It's not going to make no difference to us. It's going to make a big difference to you, though. Do you get me? Because you're going to be like, what the fuck? Where is this? Where's even half of that? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, lie to the world, but don't lie to yourself, man, because then you got a big problem. So, yeah.
It's good advice, and I guess lying to yourself, you're then trying to keep up with that lie, which in turn escalates and
escalates, and especially when you're with someone, the one person who knows you the most, knows you better than anyone in the world, is that person you're living with. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a gift and a curse anyway. So, but yeah, man.
No, thank you for going into it, and obviously not an easy situation to talk about, so I appreciate it. And it was an assumption that I made, but those two things I just kind of thought they're really poignant and potentially they fit together, which sounds like there's an element of that, but not at the same time.
Yeah,
so
it was a little, but I'm not really. I think because of all the stuff that I've been through in my life, I think, don't get me wrong, I'll have a bit of heartbreak just like everyone else, and go through all of the 5 different emotions: the anger, the love, the this, the that, the crying. That you go through it all. I'm no different than anyone, so I wouldn't want anyone to say he's any different. But I'm not really the guy that will. The one thing that's not going to defeat me out here is a woman. I've seen too many men being defeated by women. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's they don't know how hard it is, man. It is definitely hard, man. But I'm not one of them.
You listed off a load of emotions there.
Yeah.
So to transition into the present, everyone always says happiness is found in the present moment.
Yeah.
If you're present, you can be happy.
Yeah.
If you're in the past, you can't be happy. If you're in the future, you can't be happy. So let's talk about the here and now. What are you doing?
Well, here and now, back to doing my podcast. I've been doing this for 4 years now. So I'm back to doing podcasts, doing a few documentaries, talks in schools. Yeah, I'm literally doing everything that I want to do. Do you know what I mean? So that's in the present. What, business-wise?
Yeah. I'm interested about the cognac business.
Well, the cognac was just me getting in on a percentage of my guy Quakes. He's so discreet. He's gonna be like, "Why'd you say my name?" It's like, he's so discreet.
We can play.
He's all right. He's all right. He doesn't even like a picture. But yeah, they approached me and wanted to do some work together. But I was like, you know what? Let's sit down, have a talk, this, that, and the other. And it's something that I really believe in. I tasted the drink. I was like, yeah, this is something that I believe in, and something that I want to push, and something that I want to be a part of. And I was like, yeah, just come in, like, let's do some sort of partnership and work together. And get involved. So yeah, that's how that come about. But yeah, it's the 1 year anniversary in about 2 months of that alcohol, that cognac being about.
Doing anything special?
Yeah. You're I remember I'm going to say this online. You're probably invited. We're going to have some just get some load of influencers down, load of people down, and just free drinks and free food all day.
Sick.
Yeah, everyone loves a bit of that, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's in and present. My kids, big factor. Because even going back, my son and my daughter helped me through most of my depression. I always tell my son, I'm saying, you know what, you're dope. He's like, Dad, why'd you keep saying that? I'm saying, you're dope because you helped me without even knowing. There's certain times I was just flat out, just dead to the world. And my son will just call me and say, Dad, can we go to the park? Do you know what I mean? And I'll be like, that's probably the only thing I can really afford right now. Do you get what I'm saying? In real life, this is how bad it's got. Do you get what I'm saying? This was years and years back. And I thought, yeah, so even now when I can do things for him now, he's like, Dad, hey, you want that? You want that? You want that? But he doesn't even know what he was doing. He was the one person that didn't want anything from me. I just want to go to the park. I just want an ice cream. Everyone else was like, oh gosh, this, that, her. Everywhere just seemed like devils all over the place. Like, not that deep. I'm not that deep, but it just seemed like bad people. Everywhere I went, it was like, oh gosh, that woman, oh, that guy, that man, oh, that business, oh. Everyone just seemed like they wanted something from me. When I was going through something, like, can we get you down? Can we do this? Can we have a talk? And and I'm thinking, I'm going through it at the moment, mate. I don't even want to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? And my son will just be like, Dad, can I just come down and we can play computer? Everything he wanted to do didn't cost a penny, and all it cost me was my time. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, he was a big factor. But
on that point, so your son and your children.
Yeah. Because we're into the present now.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
know,
yeah, absolutely. So, how much of the relationship with your father and what he expressed to you in the interview, which we covered earlier, how much motivation does that give you to be the best father to your children?
Yeah, it gave me a little bit, but my dad's got about 15 kids. So he didn't...
Was that an exaggeration?
No, oh gosh, no. I don't think it's an exaggeration. Dad, if you're listening, really let us know, because I still don't know. Yeah. I think it helps, but I think my brother was more closer to my age, just about 3 years older than me, and the way I saw how he was with his kids, that was more of my motivation to never leave my children.
The blueprint.
Just make sure. Yeah, that was the blueprint for me. Like, do you know what I mean? And my dad, because as much as my dad's got a whole load of kids, he will see all of them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we might not, but he will. So he's a good guy like that, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the point that was sticking in my head was him saying, like, I didn't feel like I could express stuff to you and stuff like that, and you kind of thinking in the back of your mind, I don't want to be having that conversation with my child in 20 years. No,
he helps in that way, because I do have a lot more conversations with my son, even now at 13 years old, like, please, Dad, I'm cool. Anything goes wrong in school, anything, because we've all been in school and something might have happened and you thought that was the worst time of your life, and you look back now and you can't even remember the guy's name. You're not even seeing half of the people that was in your school, but he's not there at the moment. So I just have to always drill into him. Just talk to me all the time. Just talk to me, because I didn't think I can talk to my parents. Probably could have, because my dad was very cool with me. Like, but just thinking that, that's my dad. But just leaving that door open and letting him know all the time that you can talk to me. I got you.
Yeah, it's important.
Man.
You touched upon podcasting earlier as well, and what I've written down is podcast guru. So you can claim that title. But to go into that a little bit, and I'm actually.
Why would you say that though? Why would you say that?
Because you've had multiple successful podcasts, and also how I guess deem a podcast not necessarily successful, but the blueprint that I want to replicate within podcasting, which is what I want to go into, is the brand partnerships. And a lot of your podcasts, from my research, so like Fully Paid, Ben Jar, Fresh Ego, The Kid, and stuff like that. So I guess you've been successful not only in terms of making the content digestible, but also commercially successful. So the two things coming together, I think, is really important when it comes to being a podcast guru. So that's the explanation. But,
Thank you.
No, don't mention it. But brand partnership specifically. So I like to make this podcast educational, but I also like to make it, I guess, inspiring for people. Loads of people are doing podcasts.
Yeah.
How do I monetize it?
Yeah.
How did you generate the brand partnerships?
I'm just what will be sort of guy, you know. I don't really stress anyone, and I'll just give people like, okay, cool. I done a partnership with Benja without even meeting them, just over the phone, 24 hours, and it was the quickest deal I've probably done in my life. Do you know what I mean? It was just us speaking and them liking my content, them liking what I do, and it was just like that. Can we sponsor a couple of your shows and this, that, and that? I was like, yeah. And I always like to, just like with you, what we're doing now, I always like to do these partnerships to show that we are together. It seems so like there's a big story behind it, but there ain't really. Do you know what I mean? I just like to really do these partnerships because I know that we're all in the same world. We're all trying to go somewhere, and yeah, that's about it, man. But it was, they're all kind of easy. Just by off of the content that I put forward, they get their interest from that. I like their stuff. Let's go.
So all natural, really. So I guess in essence, what it is be good at what you do, and those opportunities will present themselves in essence.
Yeah, 100%. If that's what you want to know, I think concentrate on your episodes more than who might sponsor it. Concentrate on your episodes more than who might be viewing it. Because I remember when I was getting 500 to 1,000 views, and it was heartbreaking. I was like, 4 days gone on YouTube, and my video's getting like, now I can put up something and we can get into like the 150,000s, 200,000s for a documentary I done with Bouncer. So it's like, but I remember the days of getting like 500 views and 1,000, but within my point being, in that 1,000 was Rio Ferdinand. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter how much, it matters who's in there. Because some people might get 1 million and not one person who they really want to see them is in there. So yeah, that was a bit dope.
That's a good message. It's a good message. And I think unless we missed anything, it kind of ties the present section up perfectly.
Yeah, because the present is just podcasting, kids,
cognac
and documentaries. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it.
Sick. So on your Instagram, you put up a photo which was just like text, and it said, "Growth is painful, change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong." So let's move it forward. We're not stuck in the past. We're not in the present anymore. We're moving forward into the future, where we do belong. So I wanted to ask you on that. What are you most focused on for the future?
Getting married. And that sounds so weird because everyone starts to come with, well, I'm going to go into Bitcoin and I'm going to do this. And bro, none of that, like, you see the way life's so simple to me, bro. So I think I don't really want a whole load of great things with no one to enjoy it with. It's pointless. Do you get what I'm saying? You can give me the great human above certain other things. Like, do you know what I mean? So... Yeah. Where was we just now? What was we saying? What did you just say to me? Because it was something brilliant.
I was just asking essentially what you're most focused on for
what
the future.
am I most focused on? Getting married.
Within that, you said, and I'm interested on this, you said life's so simple to me. What's the meaning of life?
What's the meaning of life? Just being here, being happy and giving love. It's so simple, bro. I always tell people, life's so simple, humans make it hard. Not dogs, humans, bro. This is why a man could live his life with his dog. No problems at all. Love him, he loves me, I love him. Do you get what I'm saying? It gets technical when humans get involved. The average human. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, man. That's what I believe anyway.
Within that, then, I always like to ask people about this, and I get very different answers dependent on the guest. So, talk about legacy, and obviously, legacy is made on what you've done on earth, however you want to brand it, and it's kind of what is left behind after you leave. So, I guess before I ask you what your ideal legacy would be, how important is leaving a legacy to you?
It's not really important to me. I haven't grown like that. Like, do you know what I mean? This legacy word has been like 2 years. What about my granddad who died without no 10 businesses and no legacy? He left a legacy. Like, do you get what I'm saying? He left all these grandchildren. Like, he's got a whole load of love in the building. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what does that mean when people say, oh, we have to? Because everyone gets it mixed up. When they say, I have to leave a legacy. Do you get what I'm saying? That just kind of means a good name. Just leave a good name. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I've seen people forget millionaires in a month. So it doesn't matter, like, do you know what I mean? Like, people, like, rest in peace, Marvin Morgan. He passed away. Like, we're not screaming and shit. He left a legacy, opened up we're not screaming and shouting about that. Now he's gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how important is a legacy? Love's more important than a legacy. Leave some love here, bro. Like, don't leave a legacy. Leave love. Like, leave a good name. Like, do you know what I mean? Leave, and I get it, people leave the people with something to remember you by, but I think your name will be enough if you do the right things with your name.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You say leave a good name. What do you need to accomplish in the future for you to, I guess, be on your deathbed and say, I left a good name?
Probably a TV show. I want a TV show. I want a TV show on Channel 4.
Why Channel 4?
I don't know. I'm just throwing because I've seen some of my greatest shows on Channel 4. Oh, it could be ITV because one of my and I know people don't like this guy, but one of my people who I watch a lot, Piers Morgan, life stories. That's something that I've probably watched every episode. Do you get what I'm saying? I think he's dope at what he does, all these documentaries and this, that, and the other. So no matter about how Piers is on the Twitter and this, that, and the other,
his job.
He's great at his job. He's very good at his job. When you see him talking to these murderers and his lifers, the way he handles himself, the way he talks, the things that he brings to the table to talk about. Do you know what I mean? Like, because the person's not there on their own. He has to do some of it. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was just thinking about Piers.
Nah, ultimately we were thinking about things that you need to accomplish in the future. We're talking about leaving a name, and you're saying you want a TV show, ITV, Channel 4.
Yeah, I want a TV show. And it's a few TV shows. I'm trying to think here because I'm thinking, do I want a couple of more kids? I don't know. So we'll leave that one. Yeah. I just want. As I said, I'm a simple guy, so my list is not going to be long. I'm not going to say I want a Ferrari and da. I couldn't give a shit about Ferrari. Give me a great woman that understands me and we get along, and I'll swap that for a Ferrari. Do you get what I'm saying? Any day, man. They know me, so they know I'm very simple, man. I watch Hollyoaks 3 times a week, 4 times if I can catch it. So how simple do you want?
Yeah. That's a really good quotable, by the way. Give me a woman that understands me and I'll give you the Ferrari. That one's getting clipped right there.
No, but 100%, because people will go crazy and say, I want this, I want that. Da. Do you know how many people get there and don't have no one to share it with? And then they fall back by thinking, oh, damn, I got all this and I got no one to share it with. You know how much people are millionaires and depressed? So you think I'm going to scream for that? If it happens, bro. I'm so easy with it. Do you know what I mean? But I've been in a great relationship before with a great person. Do you get what I'm saying? So I know what the feeling is like when you wake up in the morning and that great person's just in your bed. Do you get what I'm saying? I know what it's like. I've had Mercedes and this and that. I've had cars like this. So I know what that feeling's like with your dream car outside your house. And you dare ask me what's better.
What's better?
The woman. Do you get what I'm saying? I will go crazy for a car. I want that car. 3 weeks time, bro. I'll be like, do you want to borrow my car, bro? And the first day, I'm like, no one's touching this car. Don't smoke inside. They'll catch me in 3 weeks. Because you don't care about it no more. It's like, it's gone. It's like, but love will last longer than that. love lasts longer than any lease. Do you get what I'm saying? Remember, the cars will be leased, the cars will be rented, the cars will be even bought. But you want to sell it in a minute. Do you get what I'm saying? So...
hugely powerful. So yeah, thank you as well for the humour attached to what is actually a really serious message.
I always write in a bit of humour, man.
Got it, you
He looks like Declan Rice, innit?
Oh my God.
Bro, have you had that before?
No, and I'm not taking it either.
No way!
No!
Yeah, you look like Declan Rice.
Rice's nose is like...
Nah, Declan's. You look a bit Declanish, man. He's a good-looking guy.
Oh, right, okay. Well, we'll take it then. But I was about to say, before I took that it feels like an amazing place to end for me personally. But before we do, I wanted to ask you, how have you found it?
No, what this? Brilliant, man. I like the questions. I like the way you let people breathe and talk. Because I wasn't too good at that when I started. People always used to be in the comments, be like, Tricky, let them speak. Because I'll be like, I'll ask you a question and talk to you, and then, oh yeah. And then I'll cut in. So I think that was great. I think the questions you asked were right on the money. And they were meaningful. They weren't just pointless questions. Like, who did you hang around with? And who was that? And who did... Do you know what I mean? It wasn't stupid questions. So I found it relaxing, and this is probably the first time I've sat down like this, and someone's even asked me deep questions like, no, actually, my mate Dom, I think second time, yeah, I've sat down and been asked such deep questions, and I think it's good. I think you're taking your podcast where other people ain't taking it, because a lot of us sit down and just have random conversations like, oh gosh, who should pay on the first date? Who the hell cares? Like, there's real stuff going on in the past, present, and the future of people's lives, and it's like, yeah, it's very meaningful what you asked, man. So yeah, man, you made me. I'm relaxed as well. So when I talk, you can tell I'm relaxed. If I'm a bit, I'm not. So yeah, man, well done.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And obviously, there's one last question which I ask everyone.
Yeah.
And this, to be honest, is just about expanding our network and obviously getting meaningful guests like yourselves on the podcast. So if you don't mind, who would you nominate out of everyone you know within the industry to come and sit across the table with me and have a similar conversation?
Who would I nominate? Oh gosh, that's a tough one, you know. Who would I nominate to come and sit down? You know why it's so hard? Because I like to sit with people that are not everywhere. Do you get what I'm saying? You couldn't go. I'm happy that you can't go to 5 to 10 different places and see me talking like this. So they'll have to come here to hear me talking like this. So that's what I say for different people, because you can't go everywhere and make everyone's podcast seem like it's the same. You have to save some separate parts for different people. But who would I suggest? Probably because I spoke to her today, Clara. Clara Hermit. You know about her? Yeah, she does like some life coach business, like, man. But she's a good talker. She works for the BBC. She's a good talker. She's got a banter, and she doesn't mind going deep sometimes.
That's good.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Clara, I would say. So Clara, if you hear this, get yourself down, girl.
Cheers, mate. Unreal. Thank you so much.
God bless, man.
Yeah, unbelievable episode. So again, appreciate the time, honesty, everything. So yeah, thank you, bro.
No, dope. God bless.
Nice one, bro.
Love, bro.